Welcome to Aquarian Diary, where we discuss issues around the emerging Age of Aquarius. I'm your host, John Irving. Thank you for joining me. Greetings all, it is October 2nd, 2022. At least that's when I'm recording this. It looks like it'll be published October 5th or 6th. I want to share a vision that I had with you, and I actually had this vision months ago, but I haven't shared it. It's one of a long list of things that has come up for me, or that I just had an awareness about, or had a download about, however you want to describe it. And this deals with how we will heal the earth in the future. I had a vision, and it was very clear and very vivid. A little background, or a little explanation of why this is relevant. Because human beings are powerful, creative beings, we have a very significant influence on the environment around us. And energetically, that energy can kind of stick or persist in objects and places. So down the road in the future sometime, and I'm not exactly sure how far into the future this will be, but humanity more broadly will have this awareness that we are energetic beings. This is really the 4D or 5D stuff that people talk about. We're not just physical beings. We're not just biochemistry. We are more than that. And so in the future, we will have more of an understanding of how all that stuff works and why it matters. And we will have groups of people who will be dedicated to healing areas of the earth that have incurred things like violence and great grief, or trauma, or torment, or things like that. So there are spots on the earth where there has been very emotionally charged and often painful experiences. An example might be a war zone, or a battlefield, or a place where people were enslaved, abused, or tortured, or something like that, etc. So these areas exist on the planet now, and they have for a very long time, depending on where you go. So we will have this sensitivity or an awareness about this, and we will recognize that part of cleaning up the earth isn't just cleaning up the environmental pollution and contamination we have generated. It will also involve clearing up the energetic pollution we have created. And this will be deemed to be very important because in order to lift up the vibration of the planet, we will need to help purify it. And we will need to do that deliberately. There's also a component of reconciliation where we will recognize, oh, wow, strong energy here. We will recognize really strong energy here. In astrology, if you have a significant Pluto transit, a challenging Pluto transit, you can go through this period of purging and processing trauma and grief, and sometimes that can even be stuff that you're not fully aware of, say, for example, past life stuff. And we will do that with the earth. And so part of this reconciliation will be people devoting their time and energy to healing these parts of the earth. And now these people who will be charged with doing this will be people who are advanced spiritually, have powerful psychic abilities, and most importantly, will have very pure hearts and pure intentions. And these groups of people will go to these, this is so cool, amazing, just more energy. And so people will go to these places, these areas, and we will support them in doing this. And they will spend as much time as needed to heal these areas, to free any attached or lingering souls, to help them cross over, and to basically clear that region of the wounding and pain and suffering energies. And we will go and do this in person at the places to show our respect and sincerity, and to do so with dignity and honor. We can't armchair quarterback this. That's why we will make dedicated efforts tangibly to rebalance and restore these areas. And it may take days or weeks or months or even years, and even many years in some cases. But we will be devoted to doing this for as long as it takes to make restitution and to heal and to make peace with the souls and the people who were involved in these kinds of incidents and the land. Now, this could be a very big undertaking. It could take decades. It could take generations. It could take centuries. I don't really know. I don't feel like actually it's probably going to take centuries, but it will take years for sure, maybe even a few decades. It may be when Pluto transits Pisces, starting in 2044. That wouldn't surprise me. But we will go around and we will identify parts of the earth that need healing, and we will very soulfully and very sincerely dedicate ourselves to healing this planet. And we know we will be doing this for our own good, for the good of future generations, for the good of Gaia, the planet. And it'll help bring humanity back into balance with nature and this three-dimensional reality. And, there are some areas of the world that have been in conflict for centuries, if not thousands of years. So this will be part of this awakening, this great awakening. Oh, God, I can't use that word because that's used by the magas. So this will be part of this acceleration or leap in evolution. And this is really what 4D or 5D reality is. It's us becoming aware of these other dimensions of ourselves and of reality, and actually interfacing with that. And actually, I would argue that that is already occurring. I think the phenomenon of all of the psychic activity that we are aware of is an expression of that. That's us starting to recognize that we do not just exist within the boundaries of physical time and space or physical reality, but that we can transcend that. It's very evident if you know anything about psychic phenomenon. So this will be part of the Age of Aquarius. Like, for example, the way that we treated the indigenous people when we came to North America. I mean, there's areas where it was basically genocide. And we need to make peace with those people and those souls and the places that they lived. And it has to be extremely sincere. Like, you can't just go, when you're trying to do forgiveness with yourself or with others, it has to be extremely sincere and heartfelt. And you have to be committed to it, and you have to go through it and not just deny facts or reality and brush it off or treat it lightly or something. You have to take it very seriously, and your intent has to be very intact and sincere. So that's what we will do with the planet. I wish we could be doing that now. I mean, I would like to see that and participate in it. And I've done forgiveness work in my own spiritual practice, and I know how powerful it can be and how liberating it can be. People don't understand karma, and they don't understand, most people don't understand how important this is, because we carry the weight of that on our shoulders until we resolve it, until we clear it. And many people do not even know that they carry that weight. It's very sad, actually. But like I said, it has to be extremely heartfelt and sincere, and it can't be superficial. So we will do that with peoples and places for as long as it takes. And that is how we will clear a lot of karma from the planet. And this planet will be a much more beautiful and a much more brighter and a much more spiritual place when humanity has dedicated itself to this. It'll be very emotional and it'll be very powerful and transformative. Actually, now that I've started talking about this, I recall this first crossing my mind probably 5 or 6 years ago, maybe even more. I think it first came to me when I drove through some indigenous territory in Canada. I'm trying to remember. But anyway, it has come up for me and it's been kind of at the forefront of my mind for a while now. And I thought I should just record this and put it out there. I've got tons of stuff like this I want to talk about. It all fits in the realm of the Aquarian age. It's very poignant, it's very powerful, and it's clear to me that we absolutely need to do this. We need to probably seek forgiveness for all the damage we have caused to the biosphere as well. How we've polluted the waters and the land and the oceans and the seas and skies. And it's not just, going out and picking up our garbage. Because nature and all beings are sentient on some level, contrary to what most people conveniently think. Because we've caused harm to nature and we've caused harm to the planet. It's harming us, obviously, too, because, it's going to affect us and future generations who are going to have to live with the consequences of that pollution. But there's karmic harm that's caused by this, too, which people just don't understand. It can linger for millennia. We need to address karma head on, square on. I do this in my own spiritual work like every freaking day. And it's not easy, but it's really important. It's just about taking responsibility for yourself and your actions. We're not adolescents. We don't just go like, oh, the dog ate my homework. No, that's juvenile. We have to own our karma. And we learn from that and we grow from that. And we realize if we're intelligent and mature that it's in our highest good to do that, to not just ignore it or even pretend that it doesn't exist. We have to own and take responsibility and be accountable for what we have done. This is a fundamental component of spiritual growth and spiritual awareness. It's an immutable spiritual law. And when you look at the things that are going on in the world right now, you can just see that there is so much karma being created like every day. And most people just don't have a clue. They're completely oblivious to how that is going to affect them, possibly for many lifetimes. If people understood this, they would think twice before doing anything. Some of the indigenous people had a principle of considering everything from 7 generations back and 7 generations forward when they considered what they should or shouldn't do. And that seems very apt. On the other side of the veil, when we have crossed over, we sense and perceive and viscerally feel what we have done to other people and other beings because there are no filters at that point. We're not blocked from anything. So it's my belief that karma is self-inflicted. We will choose to come back and reincarnate with various people in various situations so that we can feel and restore and balance our karma. It's not entirely like there is someone on the other side with a big stick going, you're going to go suffer. Now, there may be situations that we don't want to face because we know they're going to be difficult, but I believe we all consciously choose the experiences that we will have in our incarnation. It's about how we judge ourselves. Anyway, I wanted to share that vision with you. That is part of how we're going to restore and heal Earth and make it a much brighter, much more lighter, much more joyful, much more spiritual place. I would love to be here when we are doing that. And I'm not talking about a fringe group of people. I'm talking about collectively, we're going to recognize this. It's not going to be just a small group of people who organize on social media or something and go somewhere to do a ritual or something. It's going to be something that we will do collectively. Deep in our hearts, we know these things. Deep in our hearts, we know when we have done things that are wrong. And deep in our hearts, we know what is right. This is about being adults. This is about being mature and responsible. Not taking responsibility is, by definition, irresponsible and immature. I get this very clearly that all of this is, on some level, it's about avoidance and choosing to be ignorant so that we don't have to be responsible. But that isn't going to cut it in the Age of Aquarius. This is a I'm getting really strong energy again. This is about us taking responsibility. We will never fully access our power until we are fully capable and mature enough to use our power responsibly. And the first step of owning our power is to admit our mistakes and take sincere efforts to correct them, whatever it takes, even if it takes lifetimes. We have to be devoted to the truth and nothing less. No cop-outs, no compromises, no laziness, no deflection, no coercion, no empty platitudes, no indifference, no willful ignorance, no excuses. This is when humanity will realize its full potential. Because power can be weaponized, and you do not give powerful weapons to immature and irresponsible beings, period. This is a mandatory test. Anyway, hope you find that useful and interesting. Thank you for all your support. Again, I post content on my community tab fairly frequently that I find interesting. I'll put an image of that on the screen so you can figure out how to find it if you don't know how already. I also have a contact list at my website you can join in case this platform doesn't function the way we expect it to at some point in the future. Thanks to all of those who have already used it. I have received quite a few. And I look forward to speaking with you again soon. Bye for now.